We all love watching K-pop survival show. Every year, tons of K-pop survival show here. But what value do those survival show add to the K-pop industry as a whole? And what would K-pop look like now without any survival show? Hey there kind people, it's me Eun-bi. Today, I will try to answer those questions and we'll try to understand the impact of survival show on K-pop industry.
I.O.I입니다.
101
I.O.I.
A survival show refers to a reality show which contains a pool of contestants who compete against each other and they have to survive the elimination. The person who successfully survived till the end is called the winner. But in K-pop, it is quite different. The elimination and the survival are still there, but here a certain number of contestants survive to debut in a group. There are some shows like Show Me the Money, Second World and Kingdom where people and group compete against each other. Those don't form any group, so those are not included in this video. There are three types of survival shows. First, the show that form a permanent group. It is mostly produced by a certain level to form the next group that will debut under their company. iKon, Monsta X and Mamamoo are some example of that. But TV network companies like Mnet also make shows where they take all the individual trainees to form a permanent group. Formis 9 T.O.P is an example of that. If we look back to find the first survival show in K-pop, we find nothing in particular. Big Bang had something like that, but it was more like a documentary, cause in survival show we see them performing on stage but there wasn't any stage. In the show they showed how they trained together and stuff, but in the end Jang Hyun-sung was eliminated cause Young Hyun-suk thought his expressiveness and stage presence were underdeveloped at the time. So you can say it had the survival factor, but if you say that was a survival show, then Lesser Film also has a documentary where Ruka was eliminated from the final lineup. That was also a survival show, although it was released after their debut. 17 also has 17 TV. It was not a documentary nor a survival show. There were some performances also, people left the show, but there wasn't any particular reason for that. But the show I believe is the first K-pop survival show is Let's Cook Play Battle Chungha, which aired in 2005. Former Big Bang member Seungri was also in the show. It was a show that produced by Mnet, Coca-Cola and Good Entertainment. There are not many clips of the show, but looking at those, it seems like there were both male and female contestants. There were some clips where people were performing on stage, and in the end SHINee member decided who would be in the final lineup. The final lineup debuted as a boy group named Battle. In terms of choosing members for the final lineup, it mostly up to the level. They decide who gonna be part of the debut team. Most of the time the CEO or the company head with some other professional decides that. Like in 16, JYP himself picked who would be part of Twice. Now we see the audience can also take part in this. Like in Are You Next, by audience vote, 2 members of I.O.I were decided and other 4 were picked by the level. But when it comes to show produced by TV network companies, the audience has the main power of choosing the final lineup, unless the voting was rigged by the producers. There is another type of survival show where no one gets eliminated, although it was built up like there will be a elimination, but everyone who was part of the show end up debuting. Stray Kids and most recently Baby Monster is an example of that. Then comes the second type of survival show, which form a temporary project group. Produce 101 was the first show that introduced this format. Here many trainees who are under different level or individual or maybe they already debuted, all of them can participate. A certain number of trainees debut as a project group. They mostly have a limited contract, like I.O.I contract was for 11 months, 101's contract was for 1.5 years and IZON's contract was for 2.5 years, which is now the ideal contract for a project group. On the other hand, EXON's contract was for 5 years. Unfortunately, because of the voting scandal, they disbanded after almost 4 months of their debut. However, Classy and Fantasy Boys took this one step further. Even being a project group, they have 7 years of contract. That kinda makes them a permanent group because that's the highest period of time one can sign at a time. In terms of choosing the final lineup, the audience has all the power. Most of the time it decided only by audience vote. In some shows they can earn benefit points which are added to the initial vote. Giving the audience full power of choosing never been a good idea. They don't care about skill, they vote based on the visual, they vote for the person who caught their attention. Lastly, there is also a type of survival show that doesn't form a new group. It is to find a new member for an already established group. Kara Project is an example of that, and recently there was some news that Attract will launch a survival show to find 3 new members for 50-50. The concept is simple, some trainee will compete against each other, and in the end a certain number of trainee will add to the group as new members. The main reason for the show was some member left the group, so they wanted to fill their spot. Till now Kara Project is only show like this, and the audience had the opportunity to vote for their favorite trainees. We are done with how survival show works. Now the question is, are there any benefits to debut through a survival show, and what difference does it make? Definitely there is. Groups that debut through survival show have a pre-debut hype when a group introduced for the first time. In most cases we don't know who they are, but for a group that formed through a survival show, they already have fans for them. People already know about them and what they are good at. They saw them grow in front of their eyes, and if we add fan vote to this, they were responsible for their debut. But it also has a negative aspect. The fan they get through survival show are mostly solo stand. Not everyone like the same person. Because of that, there can be a contestant that someone doesn't like but they debut in the final lineup, and also there might be a contestant that someone loved but they didn't make into the final debut team. So in most cases viewers get upset after the final and don't support or sometimes hate the debut group. But as the audience was part of their journey, not just the debut group, the contestant who couldn't make the final lineup but later debut in a different group, they also get a huge support. But that part kinda fell off. In the past, this was the case. Even those groups used to do better than those who actually debuted in the final lineup. Groups like Everglow, G-Idol made successful career despite not debuting in the final group. But now most survival shows don't have that impact. Like last year, we got Empress and One Pack. They have some contestants from Boys Planet. Although their music was awesome, they didn't chart well. The reason they lost this impact, they try to evaluate almost everyone. They have a few favorites, they give them all the positive screen time and evaluate others with bunch of random clips which wasn't even captured on the same day. That hugely affect public's opinion cause they love stories. Even though the debut groups have a huge hype around their debut, whether they will be successful or not totally depends on their music. If their music is trash, they will lose that hype right after their debut and eventually they will become a new group with average music. Now, what if there never was a survival show in the first place? Then my channel would have been dead in a corner. I don't think that would affect any permanent groups. Even without survival show, they have to go through multiple level of evaluation and training. Also, many times we see the reorganization of a group, so if survival show never was a thing, that won't affect groups like Monsta X, 17 or Kara. But groups like Formation Line would never exist. There is no possibility we would see them together. Another thing that won't exist is the project group. We would never see groups like I.O.I, 101 or IZ*ONE, but we would definitely see the members in their respective groups. But it would kinda change. If IZ*ONE would never exist, we would see Yena with Everglow, Eun-bi and Taeyeon with Rocket Punch. That would have been interesting though. Overall, survival show has always been a huge part of K-pop. We got many legendary groups from survival show. It always holds an impact. It is the best way to introduce the pre-debut group members. But because of all the evil edits and producers' favorite, it losing its meaning. I don't think the survival show ever fell off. However, they need to improve their editing and they have to come up with some unique concept, cause now every survival show feels the same. It makes it boring to watch. I have a plan to make videos on different survival show individually like I did for My Teenage Girl. You can click here and watch it. Otherwise, if you want me to make a video on a specific survival show, you can let me know in the comment and subscribe for the future videos. I will see you all soon. Until then, have an awesome life.